mindset, marketing, and momentum. I'm your host, Jimmy Nelson, and today we are coming to you live. Business or real estate, or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Elite Real Estate Podcast this morning. I've got a special in-studio guest. Miss Michelle Saward is back with us. We were there, what, 2 weeks ago?
Ish. Yeah, 2 weeks ago-ish.
2-ish weeks ago, yeah. Yeah, but one of the things that you suggested, as we're getting started today, but one of the things you suggested was that you should, like, have you ever done this? Have you ever reversed this? And I'm like, no, I've never reversed this. So here we are. We're reversing it today.
Well, because I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Jimmy's always bringing on guests, and I know what that's like when you're inviting people to speak. And then I thought, well, you're your own best speaker. Like, why does it your voice get heard?
Right.
You're consistently giving to other people. And I think people want to know you. At least I want to know you.
Yeah.
So I think way overdue. and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was early.
It's
morning,
early.
especially for someone who lives an hour and a half away.
Right.
My dog this morning, when my alarm went off, was like, "What are we doing? Why are you feeding me breakfast so early?"
Yeah. No, on Fridays when I leave my house on Fridays, like the dog doesn't even get up anymore. He just stays in bed too. Like, yeah, he actually just gets in my spot next to the wife. Like he just,
gotcha.
he
just slides over.
Yeah, he just gets right in my spot. Yep. Yeah.
You never have to worry about if your wife is going to be lonely when you're gone.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not with him around.
He's got you. Yeah. So, do you want to just jump right in?
Yeah. Hey, look, this is your show today.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm still running this stuff just because that's a little bit harder. But yeah,
this is a legit takeover.
Yeah, this is a legit takeover.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited. All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to do this and for giving me the space.
Yeah.
I just want to start with some openers, some origin stories, right?
Yeah.
So I think many people have come to know you the way that I've come to know you. And look, eXp Realty is big. It's a big company, right? And I would have never met you living a whopping hour and a half away from me. I would have never have met you had it not been for this organization. And we're national, we're global, we're big. And so that was how we ended up connecting, was through that organization.
Yep.
And so I've only ever known you as a real estate coach, mentor, and podcast host. And then later I found out that you have like championship rings and basketball, from coaching. And so I just want to start with a question of like origin. How long have you been in real estate? Is that where it started for you? Or did it start with coaching, or how did this link up happen for you?
Yeah.
So if you want to take us back in the day, however many years ago that was, and tell that origin story.
Yeah, it's funny. So I got into real estate like not like anybody else probably ever has gotten into real estate. So I've been in the real estate for a little over 10 years, right around that mark.
Okay.
But I was at Quicken before that, so I was in mortgages before that, and then transitioned into real estate. But the funny part was I left Quicken. I went to Bank of America. That was horrible. Yeah, it was bad. And then I went to I was doing recruiting. Like I was doing white collar recruiting.
Oh.
So I was like recruiting like white collar jobs, engineers, that kind of thing.
For mortgages.
No, it was so I left Quicken. No, this was so I was like a headhunter.
Yeah.
So I was just finding people to plug and place in different companies, right? So different companies would call us and they needed an engineer for a specific job. So I would go find them.
Understood.
And so I had a friend reach out to me and was like, "Hey, how's the recruiting thing going?" I'm like, it's paying bills, right? Like it was doing what it needed to do. I wasn't like overly happy about it, but it was doing what it needed to do.
Yeah.
So he goes, I got a friend that's looking for a productivity coach for a real estate company. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't even know what's a productivity
You
coach.
didn't even have a real estate license at that point.
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
No real estate license. But what I was doing at Quicken was I was in our training. So that's what I did. So I was like coaching bankers on the phone, and we were going over business plans and what they should be doing on a daily basis and their routines and roles and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. So at times at Quicken, I would have like 200 mortgage bankers that I was coaching in different cycles. So we would run coaching cycles, and we would game plan it and game film it and do all the things. And then that's what I did. So literally I went to this company, Royal Oak, that interviewed me to be a productivity coach. Well, I didn't know. I mean, I knew what real estate was because I did mortgages, right?
Yeah.
But I did a bunch of research, and I was just like, all right, let me find out. And I'm like watching Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry videos, and I'm just YouTube real estate coaches and what they did, right?
Right.
And I put together a presentation, and they had me come in and do an audition. And they had 2 other people auditioning for this role too, and it was in front of their agent counsel, right?
Okay.
So we had our time limit or whatever. I got done with mine, and they were like, did the other 2 even know what they were supposed to be doing? Because this guy just nailed this.
Yeah, just knocked it out of the park.
And they were like, they wanted to almost hire me right then, but they had to talk about it because I didn't have a real estate license.
Right.
So they hired me the next day and paid for my license.
Oh my God.
So they were like, we want to hire you, but you need to go get a real estate license. We can't have a productivity coach that's not licensed. So I literally went and got my license and started as a productivity coach in real estate.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Like, so, like that's extraordinarily wild. I mean, okay, so you were proving yourself to be, like, obviously, I would think, a good recruiter with mortgage background, right?
Yep.
So you have those 2 things in your background. But what do you think made you proficient in, I mean, other than doing some Googling of like what other real estate coaches do, what do you think made you proficient in the coaching arena without any experience in the industry specific to selling houses?
Right. It was.
What do you think that was?
Yeah, it really is my coaching background, right? So
Okay.
so my basketball background. And
Talk about that.
And so I coached high school basketball for 20 years. I'm like still over 20 years now, because now I keep getting asked to come back and be an assistant, or I keep getting pulled back. It's like I can't let go.
You can't let it go.
But I can't let it go either. Like, I want to do it.
Right.
So it makes it hard. So I coached it. I went to my alma mater, was just Centerline High School.
Mhm.
And I went back there. I coached the varsity there for 15 years.
Okay.
And built a good program, and everything was great. And then I retired from coaching just because life, right? My boys were getting a little bit older, and there's only 24 hours in a day. And I'm one of those coaches too, like that I have to give, I get pulled in too many directions, right? But like when I would game film, we would scout, and kids were walking on the bus, they were getting handouts of what the team was going to do. Like, I was that person, right? I was that coach. But once that started to be a hindrance of like, okay, I only have so much time, like, because my boys were playing sports too, and work, and then trying to build a business, and then going into mortgages, and that taking a lot of time from me.
Yeah.
It was just too much, because I was supposed to be a teacher. That was what
starts off with, so this is what I think. It starts off with the idea of coaching. And as my husband said, who is an engineer, it starts off with the idea of coaching, and then suddenly you're into the administrative side or the recruiting side or the, like, you're getting into the technical details of all of it.
Yeah.
My husband was an engineer, and he loved the creative process of engineering and putting things together and figuring things out. And then it got to the point where he felt like he was shuffling paperwork.
Right.
And so it seems like along that same lines that you're just getting
sort of
less time in the actual on the court.
Yeah.
And
well, it was
time
more like, that's just how I did it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't, a lot of people don't do it. Like, a lot of coaches don't do it the way, especially at the high school level. And it's not but as I was trying to make us a high level program, right? So as I'm trying to elevate this program, it's a heavy lift,
and
right?
It's a requirement to do more back ends.
Right.
Mhm.
So I just made that on myself, which was just taking up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So through that, but one of the things that really and I'll always thank Quicken for this, is Quicken, when I went there to do mortgages, during the interviews, they knew I was coaching, right? And that was one of the stipulations when I got hired there. I'm like, look, I'm not going to stop coaching. It's part of what it's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked around scheduling wise of like how that was going to work out. But what they did was really taught me how to bring that coaching of all the years I'd had coaching experience and put that into business practice. Right. So
Okay.
that's really what that kind of connected the whole thing of like coaching and then hooking that together with business. And then it was always funny too, because they were like, hey, can you go present this? And can you do, yeah, give me the thing. I'll go present whatever. But I performed 3 nights a week in front of hundreds of people anyway, right? Because I was coaching in front of hundreds of people every Tuesday and Friday. Yeah.
Right.
And I've shown people pictures like when we won, and then when I went back and I was coaching at De La Salle, you know, and then we won a state championship. It was, you know, when I show I'll have to show the picture, but I'll put it in the show notes. But like, there's thousands of people, and we're coaching, so there's thousands of people around you, so you're performing. So constantly. Yeah, if you go tell me to go talk in front of 100 people, that's no big deal because I do it every 3 nights a week.
So I mean, with every performance, God, this is like one of my thoughts on the right end. With every performance of being in that big stadium and being in that a big arena, I mean, that's stuff that you build up to. It doesn't just like you just said. So I think lots of real estate agents expect that they're just going to be like a walk-on star, performer, athlete, and be in these big arenas and on these big stages. But that doesn't come without the smaller steps first and without practice. Right.
Oh man.
Do you know, I mean, have you ever seriously seen a star athlete just never go to practice, never put in the reps, never do the smaller stages, never do the work, and then just consistently only play games and win?
Never.
No.
Never.
So I'm just like dialing it back. So from before you got onto had these big auditoriums full of people that you've been presenting to or were coaching in front of, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had lights, camera, action on you. You had that build up time.
Yes.
What was that? What were what was that build up time like? It was when your boys were small, like
yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, and they grew up with me coaching, right? So they were at a lot of the stuff.
Okay.
My oldest was, he was 8 days old the first time I took him to the practice.
8 days.
8 days. Yeah, he was 8 days old. I had him at practice.
Okay.
That was when I had to convince my wife that it was okay, right?
Yeah.
That it was fine. He was going to be okay at practice.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now he's carried this on. Now he's into the coaching and basketball and all that stuff, right? So it's carried on. But yeah, he was literally 8 days old when I had him in the gym, and he was just sitting in the corner.
I can just imagine like the tennis shoe squeaks on the wood floor, lulling him to sleep.
Yeah, that's what it like. Yeah, and the noise, the crowd noise. It never.
No.
He could sleep through.
Right.
Yeah. It never. And then Nick, my youngest, same thing. Like he same way. They just grew up with me at the gym, so that was never. And I always took him. We took him everywhere, right? My wife and I would take him everywhere. So they were at different gyms in different cities, and never. Yeah. They just would walk in like they owned the place, and it's kind of what they did. And then it's funny because so that part is, that part was up. There was always something, but I guess that to answer the question of like to get there, right?
Yeah.
It was, I coached younger kids too, right? Like, so I coached the freshmen in the JV before I got to the varsity.
Did you play when you were younger?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't take a normal route like everybody else takes. Like, I didn't go from high school to college right away. Like that wasn't I was too smart for that.
Oh.
I was way too smart for that. I was making money. So I was working in a factory.
Oh.
Right after high school. So I was making like, $16 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, and that was 1991.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I was making, my friends that went away to college, I'm like, you guys aren't making any money. I'm making $16 an hour. I'm like, them killing it. Right.
Yeah.
And they would come home and we'd go out to the bar or whatever. And I was buying drinks because I was still living at home. You know what I mean? Like, so things I look back on, I'm like, me, but then I was still playing a lot of basketball then. I moved to Atlanta. My sister was down in Atlanta, and I had an opportunity to go down there and live with her, and I got a job at Foot Locker. Oh. So that was my sales, right?
Okay. All right.
Became a manager at Foot Locker, was going through their manager program, but I was playing like semi-pro basketball at that time too.
Got it.
That's all I did in Atlanta. I played basketball and worked at Foot Locker. That was it. Like that was my whole life.
That's your life.
For a couple years. Yeah. It was great.
So then, so you went to Atlanta and you played basketball in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But why do you love Alabama so much?
So that's a great question. A lot of people like it's originally my family. I was the only one in my family born here.
Okay.
My mom and dad lived in Alabama. My dad's family's all from Alabama. And so my brother and sister were both born in Alabama. And then in 70, so I was born in 72. Then it was 1970. They moved up here,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad literally doubled his salary just moving here.
Yeah.
So that's why he moved. That's why they moved here, was because he doubled his salary, got a job here in the auto industry.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, I was born.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So for you, Alabama is more of like a family connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not necessarily anywhere you played or okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That
You're putting the dots together now.
I'm like, well, hang on. Georgia is Atlanta,
Yeah.
but yet he loves Alabama. What is this? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Got it. So did you, I mean, I know you've just given lots of credit to Quicken Loans.
Yeah.
And Dan Gilbert, which if you don't know originated there and now it's shifted and has a new name. It's called Rocket, whatever. Who do you credit as being one of your best mentors, coming in at any point in your career?
Yeah.
Even if it's from a recruiting standpoint or from Quicken standpoint or from wherever you were.
Yeah. I have been super blessed
Mm-hmm.
in the industry of real estate and mortgages, right? Like I did get to like spend some time with Dan when I was at Quicken, right? Not a lot, but there was meetings and stuff I was in. But Scott Muska was one that was a mentor at Quicken.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Knuckles was another one, but then it was Brandon Mulrennan was another one that he, so Brandon worked at Quicken and I worked together there too. So and so Brandon was one of the ones after I left the place I was at in Royal Oak with real estate is where I went with Brandon to Brookstone. So that's
really?
Yeah. So I was with Brandon at Brookstone when he first launched it. And yeah, I know, right?
Oh my God.
And so Brandon was another one that was a big part of the real estate side for me, right? As I learned a ton from him.
He's
And
smart dude.
Smart guy. And I learned a ton from Brandon. And that was another one too. Like we would sit down together and this coaching thing would just take off. And him and I could just sit down in front of a whiteboard and just start whiteboarding stuff out. And it was like, wow, and I still put a lot of that even in practice today of what what we did together.
Right.
And a lot of my 90-day business planning stuff that I do was a lot from that Brandon and I did together. It's morphed since then.
Yeah.
But then obviously the move to EXP really changed me.
Okay.
And
I wanted to go there next because that's, I believe when you said you're at that real estate office in Royal Oak that gave you your recruiting, sales management position or whatever, that's where you met Kurt.
Yeah.
Correct? Or how did this EXP thing happen? He's like, wait, hold on. Let me guess.
Wait, there's more.
If you can see Jimmy's mannerisms, he just did the hang on, not a linear path.
Yeah.
I got into this, not how you would think, which seems to be a common theme. Okay. So let's just open up that dialogue.
Yeah. There's not a lot of straight lines in what I've done in my life. There's not a lot of
I think that's important, actually, that sentence right there, that there's no straight lines.
None.
Because it's easy to armchair quarterback and to sit back and just sort of go, oh yeah, I mean, look at all the opportunities he's had. But no, you said you were packing up a 8-day-old baby and going to the court.
Yeah.
You're finding a way and figuring it out and no straight lines.
Yeah.
So what is this crooked path to EXP Realty then?
So gotcha. I've known Kurt Shewell for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Or longer probably.
Okay.
Actually, probably closer to 30.
Oh.
So Kurt and my brother played softball together.
Okay.
Back in the 90s, right?
Yep.
Late 80s, early 90s. Kurt
when you were
and my
buying
brother.
beers at the bar because you had a job.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were, they're older than me, so it's it's my older brother and Kurt and so we always I was always like around like, and I was on different teams or whatever, but we were always at the same parks and whatever else. So I've known Kurt forever.
Yeah.
And we always stayed in touch like through social media, right? Whether it was like LinkedIn or Facebook, we always we would touch base every once in a while. And it's one of those things. I talked about this at Build in Detroit last year. Was like people in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And those seasons come and go sometimes, but those seasons can also be like lifetimes where you're not constantly together.
Yeah.
But you end up touching base, and then, but then God has a funny way of doing it at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when Kurt reached out to me, and things were going great. I was just a solo agent. My wife and we were in the middle of doing a flip, and I was just doing, I was closing 4 to 6 deals a month, just a solo agent, just out doing it by myself. And
minding your business.
I was good with it.
Okay.
And Kurt reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, I've got this opportunity, with Mark Z that we were looking for a sales manager."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay." he's like, would you be interested? And I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I had worked for people. I wasn't working for people now. Like,
Yeah.
I was doing a flip, and I went back and forth, and so I had lunch with Kurt. I got to feed the shark. I did all that stuff, and then I met with Mark a few times, and I've told this story a couple times, and I told it to Mark once, and Mark's like, I didn't know that happened. But I came home, and I was on a Zoom with Mark one day. They offered me the position. We had hashed it out, and I said, all right, I was going to think about it. I need to talk to my wife. So I got home that night, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, I was on a Zoom with Mark again today, and like, they offered me a job, and she's like, so what do you mean? She goes, I don't think I'm going to take it. I don't think I'm going to do it. And she's like, so the number one guy in the state of Michigan is offering you a position. You're going to say no? And I was like, no. Like, where are we at here, right? And she's like, take it, and if you hate it in 3 months, go back to selling houses. And I said, okay. And then because so I came to EXP for a completely different reason, right? And again, not a straight line
Oh, yeah.
path. I came to be the sales manager for Mark Z,
Right.
right? So I got into it, and then I was like, wow, this EXP thing is really cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even realize what EXP was. And then I was with Kurt, watching him do all the stuff with EXP, and I'm like, well, I want to do that. Yeah, like, this is great. Like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Put me in.
Yeah.
Put me in the game.
Yes. I'm like, get me in here. This is great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you were just so watching him, and then through a turn of events, you are now here.
Yep.
And you're at Elite. And you started your own jam.
Yeah.
Through a turn of events.
Yep.
And now you're building your own team.
Yeah.
Okay. So fast forward, because what year was that you came over to EXP?
So I've been with EXP now 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward now to current day. You were with Z Team for what, 2-3 years?
2 years. A little over 2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
Okay. And so what are you up to now in the past 3 years? What is it that you're building? What is it you're aiming for? Talk about that.
Yeah. And again, nothing's a straight line.
No.
Right. Nothing's a straight line.
This is such a crooked conversation.
Yeah, nothing's a straight line. But it's so now I'm building EXP Elite, right? Which is our team. We've got 8 agents on our team. We've got another one just joined, so we'll be at 9, and then I've got another one that's taking his classes next week.
Oh.
That'll be joining. So I've got more that are joining us. And so that's EXP Elite is one thing. And then the Elite Edge Network is kind of what I've come up with in the last probably 2 years.
Okay.
And again, not through everything else. I had a different podcast before.
Yep.
Things switched. We went now the Elite. So now EXP Elite, the Elite Real Estate Podcast. And so I rebranded everything with the E, right? It's on the microphones. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I was with the Elite Network, right? That was what my head was.
Yeah.
Is so everything is branded Elite, and it's not about elite, right? Like we always have this almost like this figment of like I can't be elite because you have to be rich to be elite or whatever.
It's not like wearing a pearl necklace and drinking mimosas.
Right.
That's not what you mean.
Right. Not what I mean at all. It's about being the elite version of yourself.
Yes.
Right. And being happy with who you are and being happy with where your goals are and what's taking you where. Right. And it's about and really it's about just getting like 1% better every day. So I'm a big proponent of just get a little bit better every day. Like we want these big leaps, right? But through our conversation, you could tell today, I haven't taken these big leaps. It's been small chunks to build this foundation that I've come up with. But I really love the coaching aspect of it too. I really like taking an agent that really is struggling, right? I always look at that agents that are doing 1 to 3 million, right? And they're doing okay. They're doing the job, but it's probably super stressful, right? It's probably really hard, and they're grinding their gears a little bit. How can we make that easier?
Yeah.
Right. And how can we take them from 1 to 3 to 2 to 6?
Yeah. This is where you and I have this commonality.
Yes.
Because I've been that struggling
Me
agent.
too.
And if I can just help, and this is what I see in you, this is where we overlap quite a bit. If I can elevate the floor for someone that when they hit, they don't fall into the basement.
Yes.
Then that's winning. And I think this is also what I've seen in you is that it's instilling these disciplines and daily actions that will create that win. I just watched a terrible, terrible AI YouTube video. I know, AI YouTube video. You get an idea what this looks like. But it was no, not who was it? No, Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll. And he was talking about when he was in jail, he forced himself to write every single day, whether he felt like it or not.
Yeah.
And here we are sitting in this podcast room at 7:30 a.m. on a Friday morning, which means you got to get here even earlier than that to have this go live.
That's right.
And it's those disciplined actions every single day that build that momentum to ultimately put you in the place where you want to be. And so I see that in you also being a coach and having that background, like putting in that consistent action. Is that one of your, I mean, of course, it's elevating the floor for your agents, right? That you're bringing on, or that are in your ecosystem. But talk about that discipline and that mindset and the philosophies of how you create what do you want to call it, a successful foundation.
Yeah. And that's probably the hardest thing, right? Because and again, staying consistent, right? And in our business, in our industry, whether you're a real estate agent or an insurance person or what, if you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a grinder, right? It's hard. And there's those moments where you're like, could I get out of this and just go back to work for somebody, right? And make it easy on myself? Or do I keep pushing forward, right? There's always those moments. And we talk about those moments a lot. And that's one of the things that it's again, who you surround yourself with matters.
Oh,
Right. Your ecosystem is huge. Right. And it is for me too. And like I said, I've been blessed to be around a lot of high level people, right? Like Kurt Shewell, Mark Z, Michelle Saward, right? Like to be able to be around people that are high producers, high functioning, right? And then again, that's the other thing, right? The groups that we're with.
Oh man.
Like
crazy group.
You know what I mean? Like people are like, hey, people that will recruit me to another place. And I'm like, look, this is who I have available to me, right?
Yeah.
I can call Dan Beer,
Yep.
right? Kyle Whistle, like, Jay Kinder.
Fazio.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, there's a list of people.
Yeah.
I said, who's that for you? And they're like, well, we don't have that. I'm like, well, okay, I'm good then. Right. Just as long as we're fair, like this is who I can get to.
Yeah.
And then I just go, do you want to get to them too? Because I can show you how to do that. Right. But so it's your ecosystem really matters because you have to, there's always those days. Right. And I just had this conversation with an agent the other day and we call it a water the plant day. And a water the plant day is a day that just, you have to get done what you have to get done. Right. The plant has to get watered. Otherwise it's going to die.
Gotcha.
So there's those days that you come in the office and you're like, oh God, there's a whirlwind going on outside.
Yes.
I call them off the court issues, right? Like I got a flat tire or the dog threw up on the carpet this morning. There's always something, right?
I had a deer run out in front of my car this morning on the ride in.
Right. So lucky it didn't hit the car.
6 a.m. Good morning.
It was just making sure you're awake.
Oh, you're awake, yeah.
But I call those the water the plant days. You have to come in, do what you have to do, and go home. And just get out. Like you now you can't have those every day.
No.
Right. But it's okay once in a while to just be like, all right, I have to get done what I have to get done because I have to keep moving the ball forward. But then I'm out. Like I'm not gonna do the water cooler talk and the drink coffee and hang. I'm not gonna. I just need the day for myself, right? So I'm gonna go do what I have to do and then check out. And those days are fine, but you can't have 7 of those in a row. Like you have to. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just about picking yourself up.
Well,
too.
Here's why with the water the plant analogy. If you water the plant every day and do the mundane, boring like stuff to check the box, the plant will freaking die if you water it every day.
Right.
The plant will die.
Yeah.
So you have to do things that also nourish. You have to do things for yourself that help you grow.
Yeah.
You can't just go in and do the check the box routine and be in servicing of that plant.
Right.
Of those clients, of that, in servicing all the time.
Right.
You have to put in the reps essentially.
Yeah.
Like to grow the muscle.
You do. And then again, there's like, and our good friend Austin Chevron too.
Oh yeah.
Like he talks about rest weeks, like run rest weeks. Like, and it is a big thing because that is how we have such a high dropout in our industry is because people run themselves into the ground trying to balance this job and do the work. And then they fall. Or I'm a big believer too in like setting realistic goals, about can I reach this goal? Right. So one of the things that with Brandon Mulrennan was, is I said to him, we sat down. He's like, "What are your goals?" And I told him. He goes, and I can't remember right hand what they were, but he was like, "You're trying to do something that no one ever has done in real estate ever."
Okay.
And I
What's
was
that?
like, and I can't remember. I set my goal. It was like, I said I was going to do $1 million or what. I can't remember what it was, right? And he goes, because here's the problem: is we have this tendency in real estate to say, because most agents will say, "I want to make 100,000," right? That's the first thing they
Yeah.
say. Now, if they get into the business and they say they want to make 100,000, and in their first year they make 90, okay, it's probably more than they've ever made before.
Yeah.
But they only make 90 and they don't hit their goal, so they feel like a failure,
Right.
even though it's more money than they've ever made before.
Yeah.
So then they go into this like mode of like, "Oh, I failed. Like I can't do that." But in my head, I'm like, "You made more money than you've ever made before.
Yeah.
So why not just keep going and then put it at 100 again next year and see if you can make 100 again the following year?" Instead, they ratchet it up again.
Yeah.
Then they don't hit
Oh.
then they don't hit it again. Now they've missed that goal again. And so
And that's even deeper of a
Right.
fallback, a slide back, like a bigger
Right.
fallback.
And so that's again that now they feel like failures. So I'm like, and so that's when I get into the specifics of it too. Like, what is that going to do for you? Is making 90 going to make you a failure, or is if you don't make 100, you're a total failure? Like, what does that feel like for you? Right? Like, and again, because through this coaching stuff too, is like I found that agents will find out too, because it's always the office talk, right? Or this, and now it's social media, right?
Oh, that too.
The social media stuff's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's
The giant water cooler.
the giant water cooler, and a lot of it's just fake. You know what I mean? A lot of it's just fake.
It's true.
Yeah, a lot of it's just fake.
It's true.
We can look up numbers. Like,
Yeah, we sure can.
and I go, wait a minute, that is not really happening right now. But so all that to be said, like that's where people feel like failures too, because now they start comparing themselves to other people.
Oh,
right?
God.
And a lot of people too, like say, I want to be Michelle, or I want to be Mark Z, or I want to be, Jeff Glover. I want to be. It's like, yeah, but you didn't see the 25 years they put in before that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Right.
you can be.
Like that Jelly Roll example. He's
Yeah.
like, I was in jail and I forced myself to write songs every day. I had this conversation with my husband last week. We have spent too many weekends in a row in Canada dealing with his dad's cottage there. It's a whole whatever. That's the thing. And my husband, I checked back into social media and my husband goes, "What happened in real life?" And I go, "Oh, no. This is not real life. I just posted a picture of my dog running on the beach. I didn't show the real life of like loading junk into a dumpster
Right.
with dirty fingernails, haven't showered in 2 days." And
Yeah.
I didn't show any of that. Like, this is the other piece of what we were doing while we were at the beach.
Right.
We were gutting gutting some rooms and clearing some stuff out.
Yeah.
But we're not showing that work piece of like, yeah, I got a couple hours at the beach, but because I hadn't showered in 2 days,
Right.
I had dirty fingernails.
I had to
and
get the
was like,
lake
I
to
had to
clean
get in
off
the
a little
lake
bit.
just to clean up. Whatever. But that's so not real life. And so what you just said about setting goals, okay, I'm going to make 110,000, 120,000, and your goal was to make 100 and you hit 90. Like, that's the book, The Gap and the Gain.
Yeah.
It's focusing on, okay, what have been your improvements from where you began, and taking that measure versus making yourself feel like crap by way of comparison from
Exactly.
other people and digging yourself into a worse hole. Matthew Ferry talks about, and I'm sure you've used this tactic in your coaching plenty of times, lowering the bar so that you can succeed and that you can win at it. Matthew Ferry talks about he wanted to start doing yoga, and he's like, "Oh God, yoga, this is terrible." He's like, "Oh wait, can I do 1 minute yoga a day?" And it was literally him like standing in a posture for yoga for 1 minute. And then he's like, "Cool, I did yoga today.
Yeah.
Check. It's a win."
Yep.
And so he's like, "Okay, now can I do yoga for 5 minutes a day?" You can build on this platform with anything that you want. If it comes to prospecting, if it comes to recruiting, it comes to number of listings taken, listings sold. Can you lower the bar so that you can get a win?
Right.
And so, I mean, when you are dealing with your agents and you're talking to them about these things that help them succeed, like you said, with income goals or whatever it is, how do you help, I guess, not only the agents, but how do you help them break through burnout or fear or any other of those mindset hurdles that they come across?
Yeah.
How are you helping them get through some of those things? What are
That's
some examples, I
yeah.
guess?
So that's probably some of the hardest things, right? Like
Mhm.
is again, what's the challenge going to be, right?
Yeah.
Because we can in words. I did this. I've done this with agents before. I did it myself. I did this with a couple agents when I was running Mark's team. Was like I literally so Brandon and I were sitting down one day and I wrote $1,000 check
Mm.
and gave it to him, and we all did. There was a bunch of us in the office, and we each wrote $1,000 check, and he wasn't cashing them unless we weren't in the office doing what we were supposed to be doing, right? And we each said what we were going to do on a daily basis, and then and we were doing some stuff online, but we was tracking everything, right? And if we weren't hitting the numbers we were supposed to, that 1,000 just went to a charity.
Oh yeah.
Now at the time I wrote the check, I didn't have 1,000 in the bank.
Oh,
Like it was,
that's embarrassing.
I'm like, man, my wife's gonna kill me if he cashes this check. Like, I knew I was like, man, I'm gonna be in so much trouble because I didn't have like at the time I wrote the check. I'm like, I don't have $1,000 in there, but I'm writing it anyway, which made me even want to come in more because I didn't want the embarrassment factor of like, hey, like that check didn't clear,
bounced,
right?
yo.
Yeah, and the fact that like I didn't have it, so I was like, I didn't want to let everybody know that I didn't have it, right? So it was all right. So I've done that with agents too.
Mm.
Right. And it's conversations I've had with different agents is I sat down with one agent and she was divorced and she wrote checks to her ex-husband.
Oh yeah.
And I said, if you don't do what we're saying,
That's right.
what we planned out, if you don't do what you're saying, I'm sending this to him.
That's right.
And she's like, I don't want you to ever send a check to him. So she would every day. And you should see what it did to her business.
I bet.
Her business like just hockey stick.
I bet.
Straight up. And because she didn't want to do it, right? And it becomes so those are some tactics, right? Like it's like what it's because we can kind of coast along for pleasure, right? Like pleasure's okay. And we find it but we run from pain. You know what I mean? Like pain, that pain, and so we'll do whatever to avoid pain. You know what I mean? We'll do whatever to avoid pain. But what we'll do a lot of times in our industry is when the pain starts, we just go get a job. You know what I mean? Like we leave and go get a job because it's a struggle right now. The market shifted. Really it comes back to I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I took my eye off the ball and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. But instead of just saying, just resetting and going back to, all right, I have to go back and do this because I have my own story for that, right? Like COVID.
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, like I said, I was closing 4 to 6 deals a month.
Yeah.
Everything was good. I was a solo agent. Everything was great. COVID happens, right? And so I wasn't prospecting. I was every day. I was 3 hours a day, no matter what. I was FSBOs expired, my sphere. I did the whole thing. And so Fadi says, Michelle, dig in and probe. We want to know the craziest thing Jimmy did. So.
Okay, we're gonna. All right, you got it, Fadi.
And so COVID happened.
Yeah.
Right. So it knocked all of us off our game. Right. Like we none of us had a choice. So I wasn't prospecting like I was supposed to.
Yep.
Right. Because I was at home, and it's like, well, for the first like 2 months of COVID, I was the 2 months to flatten the anyway.
I'm like day drinking.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, that too, but but then it was I was just spinning plates trying to keep deals together.
Oh, for sure, we all were.
Yeah, we're all like,
oh man,
you know, I had one that was
clients calling, going cancel,
yes,
cancel, take it off, cancel.
We couldn't do employment verification, right? So that was hesitant. That was holding everything up. So so that was in 2020, in March 2020 is when COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
And then so May I had 6 closings in May. June I had 5. July I had 4. Right. So it slowly just started going down to where I got to like November, and I was looking at December, and I had nothing scheduled to close in December.
Scary.
I put my application in at Dick's Sporting Goods.
No.
Because I'm like, I was running again. I'm like, I gotta do something. Like I'm like,
away from pain.
Yeah. And I was like, I gotta do something. And then I felt even worse because like I didn't get nobody hired me. Like Dick's didn't even call me back. I'm like,
what?
Come on, man. Like,
I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm not a teenager.
Yeah. I'm like, I just want to, I slung shoes before, you know what I mean? I worked at Foot Locker. I was a manager for like, this is easy. But one of the things I did was I got back with my coach, and he was like, you need to just get back on your horse of what you were doing to do it.
Yeah.
Which I did. So then in January, I had 3 closings.
Yep.
February, I had 4 closing.
Yeah.
March, I had 5 closing. Right. So it just went right back, but I had to go back to my 3 hours a day. But it happens to all of us from time to time. We're just knocks us off our game a little bit. But that's where coaches come in and are so important because they have to be able to pull you back.
I love that so much. I wish this was at the beginning of our conversation because, you're so many agents and myself included, like my husband's come home, seen me sitting in the dark on my laptop looking at job boards with all the lamps off in the house.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I quit real estate."
Yeah.
I hate, this is many, many years ago, but it feels so freaking good to go back to the consistent routine and the consistent pattern of, and this is what I say to agents all the time, of just the daily practice of being in that routine and being in momentum. Because if you can, this is what I say to agents all the time, you got to get out of your own head and go be of service to other people. So the minute you stop, I call it the real estate temper tantrum, which is, that's it. I'm done.
Taking my ball and going home.
I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. Exactly. 100%. 100%. When you get out of your head and you just say, you know what? I'm here to play. I'm here to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to get back into practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's when you start winning again, So I think I was going to ask you, but I think you answered it in your question, in your answer right there. I was like, what motivates Jimmy? But I think we just figured it out. Like Jimmy can be easily motivated by getting away from pain.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's all of us, right? I think all of us, like another question coming is, what's your morning routine? But I think a lot of it too is like we as humans, we always want to run away from that pain, right?
100%.
Of this hurts. I want to get away from it. And we all want a quick fix.
Yeah.
But we know in this industry, it's not a quick fix. It's a 30, 60, 90-day fix. It's not and I tell agents this all the time. If I got a buyer that wanted to go buy a house tomorrow, I am not getting paid on that for at least 30 days. Bare minimum. Bare minimum. Like that's if everything works out right. Yeah. Right. If inspection and appraisal, like if all of it goes perfect, maybe I make some money in 30 days.
Yep.
Maybe. So it's like it doesn't even pay over. It doesn't fix itself right away either.
No.
Right. That's why when I talk about my 90-day business plan, one of the things I talk about too is like it's not gonna, if you started a 90-day business plan right now, it's not gonna have, it's gonna have some effect on the fourth quarter. Right. It's gonna have some effect on it, but it's really gonna affect your first quarter.
Oh heck yeah.
If you just get into this routine over the next 90 days, your first quarter will hockey stick and you'll start having business like crazy. Right. And that's literally what happened with me in 2020. Right. And then I went to work for Mark and Kurt.
That's a cheat code right there. If you just tell yourself that your new year starts in September, October.
Yes.
Because then you've got more runway than the other people. Like it's just you're setting yourself up on a glide path. Yeah. What was that question that people are hounding you for?
This way, well, Fadi first said he wanted to dig and probe, and we want to know the craziest thing Jimmy's ever done.
Oh, okay. I'm sure Jimmy's got a lot of crazy
Jimmy's
stories.
got a lot of crazy stories.
I don't know if we have enough time for that, but there was what was the other one?
The one is what's your morning routine?
Oh, okay. So so here, whoever asked that question,
Tara.
What's your morning? Tara asked that. Okay. What's your morning routine? I'm going to preface it with this. Everyone's going to have their own morning routine. So don't try to be Jimmy.
Yeah.
Try to be you, but try to put the elements of whatever he says into your life for success. Yeah. All right. Now, what is your morning routine, Jimmy?
Well, I've never been a 5 a.m. guy. Like this.
What'd you do to me today?
Yeah, well, that's for Fridays is it. Yeah, Fridays is it. But I've heard so many people like I'm up at 5 and I'm at the gym and I'm not the 5 a.m. guy. I was at one point.
Yeah, I was too.
And it almost burnt me out. Right.
Not the guy porn, but I was the 5 a.m.
And I look at the part. I look at a picture of when I was the 5 a.m. guy. I'm like, man, I probably should get back to being the 5 a.m. guy. It looks a lot better than that's right now. But I also say, so for me, my morning routine is like I'm up, and one of the things that drives my wife crazy is like my alarm goes off and I get up, like once. I don't.
No snooze.
Nope, I'm up. I get up, and she's like, how do you do that? I'm like, that's just.
You're like the dog is kicking me out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm up, right? So I'm up, and then it's this routine. I feed the dog. I put the coffee on, right, and then it's into. I try to do some sort of movement, right? Some sort of exercise, whether it's walking the dog, going outside, doing some push-ups with my son, right? Like that's one of the things that he's 14, so he's conscious about this now, right?
Mhm.
So it's like but it's been helping me. So it's like now I'm doing it, right?
Awesome.
So we get up, do some push-ups in the morning, right? And then it's our morning call, right? 7:30, Monday through Friday, I'm on our morning coaching call
Mhm.
every day, right? And then that's part our breakfast club is on here now. But every morning it's from 7:30 to 8:30 ish,
Yep.
right? Depending on how much we talk. But 7:30 to 8:30 is that morning call. And then I'm in the office. And then at 9 o'clock is when I start calling now.
Yeah.
Right. So I kind of got out of that for a little bit
Oh, right on.
when I wasn't in production. But now going fully back into production, I'm back to my dial time, right? That 9 to 12 is my production time, right? That's my protected morning time that I like to keep, that I'm out, I'm prospecting for business, right? It's outgoing. It's this connection system that I'm using now is fantastic. Like it's helped me a lot for keeping me on track with that stuff.
Okay.
But that's 9 to 12, and then it's meetings, right? I'm the chairman of the board for our agent advisory council in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
So I have those meetings, and then it's building the team. And part of my production too now is reaching out to agents,
Mhm.
right? It's trying to grow the team and trying to grow EXP,
Yep.
right? That's become part of the production of it too. And it's really, so that's my daily, right? And then I bring my lunch almost every day.
Mhm.
Because one, it lessens my time on decision making.
Yeah.
I already know what's in the fridge. I know what I'm going to eat, right? So there's no like looking for restaurants and trying to figure out what I want to go eat. Do I feel like salad today or do I feel like soup today? Like
Yeah.
it wastes so much time.
Yeah.
Right. So I hate wasting time. So I'm like, if I bring my lunch, I already know what's in there. I know what to eat. I'm pretty simple because usually what I'll do is like the night before I'll cook more.
Yeah.
Because I do
That's
like
what I do.
I like to cook a lot too. So my wife and I cook a lot. We don't hardly ever eat out.
Yeah.
And it's not for any other reason than we just like to eat.
It's
we
better.
we like to cook.
Yeah.
That's one, right? I made eggplant last night. Like and I love it. So
Yeah.
it's fun to me. So that part of it, but that lessens my time, right? So
Mhm.
I already know what I'm having for lunch. So and I usually don't go anywhere for lunch. I just eat in my office.
Yep.
And then I go right back to it's business, right? And then I do a lot of inputting of data for my agents,
Mhm.
right? So Sky Slope and all that stuff I take care of for our team.
Oh,
So I handle all that stuff too.
lucky
So
crew.
yeah. So I'm like, just send me all your stuff. I'll get it in the Sky Slope for you. And don't ever anybody else send me stuff. I'm very expensive. Yeah, I'm very expensive. But my morning routine it's pretty simple, and it's not. I don't waver from it very much, right? And there's times that I have, and then all of a sudden you can say, "Here I am," right?
Yep.
And this year was an example of that. But and excuses or whatever. But like in March, when I turned 52 in March, and that weekend I was in the hospital.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was a great time. Yeah, I had diverticulitis, right? So I'm sharing
Mm.
too much information, right? But then when I was in there, they were giving me antibiotics, which I didn't know at the time that I was allergic to, and they put me in the anaphylactic shock.
That's insane.
And then they had to do the EpiPen and the whole deal. Like crash carts came in. It was nuts. But that threw me off my game, right? Then it was moving offices. There was a lot that happened.
Near death might do that, Jimmy.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that was on a Saturday. Monday, I was moving offices. So
oh my God.
yeah. So because it had already all been scheduled,
Right.
So I'm like, I had movers luckily, but at the same point, I'm like, I still had to be there, and I came home. I'm like, I'm so tired. And again, same thing. I said, take a nap. Like I'm exhausted.
Oh my gosh. Did you see God during those moments or whatever for your birthday?
No,
Did
I
you
was just trying to breathe.
You just no,
I was
nothing
just
like
trying to
that.
breathe. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing like that. I was
Was
just trying to breathe.
Wasn't that close?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it wasn't that close. I was just trying to breathe, but it was good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I don't suggest the EpiPen and the steroid and all that stuff that they gave me. Like you want to talk about wired. You want to think about you had energy. Oh my God. I didn't sleep. I was at 4 a.m. I was walking around the hospital. Like I
Oh
can't.
my God.
I was so wired. I'm like, my hand, I'm like, you're so wired after all that. I was like, I couldn't even sleep. So I'm like, I'm not getting any rest because I can't sleep anyway.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You're so lucky because I remember seeing you just days before that.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? How
Yeah.
did this happen
And
so fast?
I was supposed to be hosting that event downtown.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I was supposed to be hosting that event downtown that I didn't go to because
Right.
I was in the hospital. Yeah. Yeah. That was March.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky. Yeah. So all right. So what do we got here? You and I also geek out on on AI stuff, and that's been pretty exciting and a game changer. So I think, are you employing some of that into your business?
Yeah, so I employ a lot of stuff, right? I've got some things that I want to do, right? So like I've got I guess yeah. There's a lot of things that like I reach from a lot of people, right? I love to learn, right? And one of the things I like Dan Beer, right? I was in a
Yeah.
mastermind with him, and I saw one of the things he was talking about, like if I can learn things and then give it away,
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
and I'm like, so that's pieces that I've taken from all these great people that I'm like, then I do it, and they're like, that's really smart. I'm like, well, it really wasn't me, but
You know what? That's the question I was going to ask you, because I said we had the AI thing or whatever, but this podcast that you're doing, you've been doing the podcasting like this for a long time.
yeah.
How did this start?
So it really started. It was born out of our breakfast club call.
Okay.
All right. So it was born. That's the reason it's at 7:30 in the morning. Right.
Okay.
So our breakfast club call is every day, Monday through Friday at 7:30. And one of the things we had talked about was like on Fridays, how do we lighten it a little bit, right? Like how do we make it a little more enjoyable,
Mm.
right? Because kind of like we talked about this, like real estate agents kind of get beat up throughout the week, right? You have your coaches and your team leads and your sales directors and everybody else barking at you all week, and your clients yelling at you. And so by Friday, like how do we have a little fun with it, but still learn something, right? Like how do we learn, like provide, and again, it's providing value.
Yeah.
So we had said, like, why don't we just take this, make Fridays a podcast,
Okay.
right? And so we still have the dial-in line. So we've got, I think we got 30 some people lined in today.
Very cool.
And so that was part of it. So we injected an audience right away.
Yep.
And then it's been nice because we've had guests on, like, Al's been on, Kurt's been on a few times, Mark's been on, you've been on,
Yeah.
Gogo's been in, Tina's been in, and everybody says the same thing though. 7:30.
What? My dog was saying it too this morning. He was like, "What is this we're doing?"
Yeah. So, but then this became like fun. Like this is fun, right?
It is totally fun.
It's fun for me. And then I've done it. Now I've gone out and done it at events. You know what I mean? And people people love to come up and sit down and talk to you in a podcast, right? Because it's a cool thing, and it's a lot of fun for me.
It's fun, and you get to know people on such a deeper level, and in such a better way, actually, because you get to connect story with the individual, which I feel like we've done here today. I know we got a couple minutes left, and who knows, we might wrap up a couple minutes earlier. Who knows what comes of this? But I'm going to fire a couple questions at you for rapid fire, if that's all right with you. All right, this one. I don't know if you I don't know if you saw what I edited or what I wrote down.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So when your alarm goes off in the morning, this morning specifically, while you're still in bed, what is your first morning thought?
Today, my first morning thought was what I needed to do when I get here. Like I knew I needed to make sure, because so there's a lot that happens behind here over here, right? So the dial-in lines over here, we are live on KGCI. So KGCI is another app that has to be running while this is going on.
Okay.
And then I have the stream that's going on, and then I have the board that's going on. So the first thing that was in my head was like I needed to check mics when I got here to make sure and nothing had changed.
So alarm goes off, your brain says check mics.
Yeah. Today very specifically, right? Because I knew that's what I had. Like it was like in my head, it's remember the microphones, right? Like remember the microphones.
You think he's got an obsessive personality? Okay. All right. Okay, got it. All right. Okay. So what's the song that gets you hyped?
Eminem stuff. Anything. And almost any Eminem. Till I Collapse is a specific one.
Okay.
With Eminem.
Oh. Yep.
And the funny story is, so we grew up not too far from one another.
Right.
And like Eminem did talent shows at my high school, like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Which was funny back then because
he did talent shows.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did the talent show at the high school.
That's fun.
And I bought a tape out of the back of his car.
That's cool.
Yeah, because they were selling tapes. But it was funny back then because it was a lot more it was a lot more like Vanilla Icy. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot. Sure. There was dancers and there was, it was this whole, it wasn't this gangster rap. It was pretty yeah. But again, I've told this story a couple of times too, but like it's growing up in this area.
Yeah.
Right? Like so Eminem doing the talent shows at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would go to parties in Mount Clemens. And if you go to a party in Mount Clemens and went to there was a DJ in the basement, it was Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Because
why not?
Just the area we grew up in.
Right.
And at the time, we're all the same age. So they were just trying to figure out what they were doing at 16, 17, 18 years old.
I'm looking at you thinking of ICP because I remember that too. At that
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Remember Insane Compound. All right. Okay. Got it. All right. So if you were not in real estate, what career would you have? What would you do?
Well, what I want to, so again, I didn't take the normal path, but when I did go back to college,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be a high school teacher.
Oh.
So I was my social studies English, social studies major, English minor,
Okay.
And coach basketball. That's what it was. That's what,
You thought you're going to be a teacher.
That's what I was going to be.
I mean, you still really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell this to teachers that are thinking about that are retiring or could retire, that are my age, right? Because they've been doing it for 20 some years or 30 years. That the transition from teaching to real estate is it's very simple, except you still have to deal with kids because there's real estate agents you deal with, but but in a different facet, right? But it's you're really just, again, you're guiding people along a path, and our clients need that same guidance, right? Like our clients need that same guidance to look, they don't know what they're doing, but they think they do. Not much different than teenagers. They don't know what they're doing either, but they think they do, right?
That's
so
right.
It's no different than our clients.
No different at all. All right. Early, on time, or late?
I'm an on-time guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an on-time guy. I try to be, right? So, but typically, a lot of times I'm early, but I'm always that on time. Like if you tell me to be here at 8, I'll be here at 8.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. One book or podcast recommendation for every agent. What would you recommend?
Oh, first one, and I've given this book to my kids, is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh yeah.
It literally changed me. Now, I didn't read that till I was in my 40s, right? So it changed my perspective, right?
Yeah.
And looking back on things, and my dad, I grew up with my dad working in factories, which that's what I thought I was supposed to do, right? That's what I did right after high school. I just went and got a job at a factory, and that's what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Until I started working in it, and I realized I don't ever want to do this. Like this is the worst thing ever. Like I hated it, and I'm like, why am I doing this? And then once I started to get into sales, then I was like, this is what I want to do. I can talk to people all day.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me to shut up and leave them alone. Like this was great. Like that's what I really wanted to do. And once that started to happen, I figured that part out. That's what changed everything for me. It was like I didn't want to be in the factory anymore.
Right. It lost its luster.
It did. But again, to my dad worked hard and provided, and that's what he did in the factory.
To each his own.
Yeah. And I think that's what he wanted for us, right? My brother works in a factory, right? Like that's
okay.
Yeah. And then he makes a good living. It is what it is. My brain doesn't work like that.
Didn't work like that.
No.
All right. So who would be your dream guest for, I won't take it offensively if there's somebody else.
Michelle Saward would be
for the I've already been here. So, okay. Future forward, who would be your dream guest for the Elite Real Estate Podcast?
So that's tough to narrow down to one.
Okay.
Obviously, so growing up, Michael Jordan was my guy, right? Like, so but I would rather play a round of golf with Michael Jordan than have him on here.
Al Abdallah.
Oh.
Yeah. Al Abdallah, but you've already been a guest, so I've already had my dream.
Not been here.
Yeah.
So Michael Jordan would be a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. I like how big you're thinking with this.
Yeah, good. For sure. I mean, again, I always thought I was a big thinker too, until you get around other people that, and then I'm like, what?
Yeah. What are they doing?
Yeah. What? How do you do that now? But yeah, like somebody like that. But again, I would, if I could get Glenn Sanford on.
Oh yeah, sure. I think you probably could. I think you got some pull in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna try. That's gonna, EXPCon's coming up in Miami.
Yeah, man.
Let's see if I can work that out.
Make it a goal. Lock it down.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah.
Because we've had Leo on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, to get Glenn on would be cool. Because I would just like the good part about where we're at with EXP too is all of our leadership has been an agent.
Right.
And they understand what agents go through.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's a special thing because most people don't realize that.
Yeah. Well, I know we have a hard stop because of the radio, and we could sit and talk all day. I've got more.
I can do this every week just by myself.
I'm sure, I'm sure you could. But I just want to say thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your platform with everyone.
Yeah.
And hopefully this conversation was worthwhile for your listeners to plug into and get to know Jimmy Nelson a little bit better.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it was worthwhile, but I appreciate you for coming in this morning, driving an hour and a half early and being out here early to get started and go from there. So I
wanted
appreciate
to.
you.
I wanted to. I
Yeah.
was like, all right,
I
cool.
appreciate you.
All right.
But I appreciate you coming out and doing this and platform just because I can give back.
Yeah.
You know, and go from there. So hope everybody got something out of it. I appreciate it. And then we'll be back next week for the Elite Real Estate Podcast.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you guys.